For the final time in the games of the 27th Olympiad. That's right, my very good friends. The final time you're in the dream zone. You're in the House of Zeds. And welcome to Sublime Saturday, open brackets, world peace, if we want it. Close brackets. It's a silver and gold. It's a silver and gold night in the medal tally and bronze in hearts of gold. And wait till the end of the show, if you can stay with us, put the jug on, make a cup of tea, because we've got something very, very special in brownie bronze at the end in the hearts of gold segment. I'd like to introduce to you a man who's been with me through the whole series of dream shows here. He's made me look bloody good night after night here on the 7 Network in this ratings extravaganza. I refer, of course, to my colleague in league, rampaging Roy Slavin. Roy, welcome to the Dream for the final.
Yes, thank you, HG. Thank you, my friend. Well, you know, we've been in many trenches together, but
none as deep or as sticky as these.
As Sublime Saturday.
That's right.
Sublime Saturday. It's like, I think it came from Antwerp originally, HG, the concept of Sublime Saturday, because it was in Antwerp on that day a sublime day. And each, by and large, every final Saturday in the Olympic canon, if you go through Mexico City and Seoul and Helsinki and Rome, they've all been, and Los Angeles, they've been sublime days. Yes. The only exception, of course, is the toilet. No surprises there. And I've got a feeling, actually, these games, the Sydney games, I mean, Melbourne were the friendly games, universally acknowledged as such. And even though there is a push coming for Sydney to be regarded as the party games, I think they'll be known as the Sublime Games. Yes. Sublime Sydney. Yes. I think that's how it'll go down in history. Yes.
I must say, we said on day one of the dream day one, that these were the greatest games ever, and nothing in the intervening time, in the intervening fortnight, has given me one moment's pause to reconsider that evaluation. The greatest games ever, ladies and gentlemen.
You're right.
I mean, sure, go back to Antwerp, trace the line through. Sure, there was a good...
It was a great game. Antwerp was a beauty.
It was a fantastic game.
A beauty. I wish I'd been there.
Yeah, Seoul, magnificent.
I've read so much about it. Seoul, a cracker.
Oh, cracker. 56 in Melbourne, a really big high point. A really big high point. And now, topping it all off, we've climbed that Everest again in games presentation, in friendliness, in the best volunteers in the world, ladies and gentlemen. Best volunteers in the world.
You're right. You're right. If Melbourne was the top of Everest, and I think it was, what we've done is lugged a few bags of concrete and some bricks to the top of Everest and stacked up the bricks and stood on it.
Yes, that's right.
The sublime view.
And if people think of the catchphrase of the Sydney Games as throwing down a gauntlet, well, I think tonight we can throw down the gauntlet for the rest of the games in eternity, right here like that, and say, do your best, but it'll have to be bloody good to beat what we've turned on.
Oh, yes.
Is that right, Roy?
Oh,
yes, we'll leave that there, just so as people can have that as a bloody talisman of what throwing down the gauntlet means. And Roy Fatro, online. The bidding shuts, as nearly as I can tell, in about 44 minutes. Right. 44 minutes. And if you want to get into the action, olympicaid.com you've got to go to. I haven't got a total at the moment, but you've got 44 minutes to bag. Where is the Battler's Prince?
Oh, where is
I think there's one up there.
The little man.
Here he is. This is what you've got an idea of. Here he is. The Battler's Prints could be yours. Olympicaid.com. That's where you've got to go. Put in a bid. Imagine.
What you could do with it.
Indeed. You've been in Sydney for a week. You've been in Sydney for a fortnight. No one knows you're here. You burst in with this under the arm.
That's right.
Saying, hey, kids, look what I've got.
Look what I've got.
The Battler's. You've seen him on TV. Now do your worst with him.
Right. He's yours. He's yours. Yeah.
No.
Dead right. What a talking point to have around the house.
It would be. You know, ringing up people.
Say, isn't that the Battler's Prince there?
Holding the door open.
That's right.
Isn't that the Battler's Prince on the mantelpiece? Isn't that the Battler's Prince?
In that showcase you've got there.
Yeah, a showcase.
Why? It looks like the Battler's Prince.
And when romance is on the air, imagine pulling back the sheets, the bump in the bed. The Battler's Prince. When do we start? That's the sort of thing the Battler's Prince can do for you.
That's
so,
right.
Olympicaid.com, and remember, all the proceeds go to Olympic Aid, which is this wonderful charity that's dispersing money to kids around the world through the good offices of Olympians and former Olympians. Now, Matthew Wallace, Roy. Matthew Wallace is a writer, New York Post. He's written an article this week which has shocked me. He says basically Australians don't like Americans. I think that's the tenor of his thesis. Find it hard to imagine, and as you can hear from the audience,
groaning disbelief.
Groaning disbelief, yes. Could this be true, Roy?
I find it very hard to believe, HG, when it comes. Look. Australians, New Zealanders, and Americans are friends under the one umbrella of ANZUS.
Yes, people forget that.
The ANZUS Pact. We've been in the trenches together over the years. We're very, very good friends. The best friends we have in the world are the New Zealanders and the Americans. But actually, I always say friendship comes at a cost.
Yes.
And that cost is honesty. You've got to be honest to be a true friend. And while individually Americans are very, enjoyable people, modest people, quite lovely people. We've met lovely Americans. Individually, they're very fine. It's just en masse. One can be slightly, I think, critical. They are loud, ignorant, self-obsessed, to the point of narcissism. They are inward-looking, barren, uninteresting, and incapable of seeing any of these qualities that so puts the world against them wherever they go. They wonder why they are so disliked. It's just they can't see it, and that is their major stupidity. That is the fatal flaw of Americans. Individually, they're wonderful people, wonderful. It's just in toto. I mean, get any more than two.
It's all down.
And I'm sorry.
You're lugging the bricks down off Everest, aren't you? Pretty bloody quickly. Now, Roy, you wanted to introduce, I understand, one of the highlights, just to give you a comparison with the Sydney Games.
Yes.
With one of the highlights that Australia glimpsed of the toilet game.
The toilet, yes. Let's go back to the toilet now and remember how it was.
Yes. Here's a little glimpse.
Peachtree Panorama, brought to you by Ansett Australia. To enjoy a real moving experience of the city of Atlanta, a visit to the Cyclorama building is a must. When you walk through the door, you step into the pages of history. There are depictions of the Battle of Atlanta, which took place in 1864. The massive diorama with a revolving viewing platform really makes you feel part of the action. There is a Civil War museum, and for train lovers, there is Texas, one of the great locomotives of Southern America.
Can I say, Roy, it does get better than that.
Oh, I was going to say, that's the best bit.
That's right. That's right.
I had to search for weeks to find something interesting to film.
Yes.
And that Cyclorama, doesn't it come alive? Don't you feel? You feel as if you're in the war.
Yeah.
In the Civil War. I mean, it's unreal, it was described to me as being.
Unreal.
Unreal.
Did you get fully sick out of anybody?
I got fully sick there, yes.
Tell you what impressed me was the length of queues you had to queue up to get into it. I mean, Sure, it's just almost impossible to get in there, such is the weight of people. But Roy, you know, when you draw a coordinate, if that's the bottom through Sydney, gee, it's just sort of going vertically straight up, isn't it? At the moment?
It is, absolutely.
Now, highlight today, of course, was Cameroon winning their first gold medal in soccer. It's a tremendous result for them. I think they've won silver and bronze before, but this is the first gold medal they've won in soccer. And we took the cameras there, and what a way to lose a match. 2 each at full time. We're onto a penalty shootout here. Spain get the first 2. This one to progress in the competition. Here it is, snap off the furniture and desolation. It's a hard way. The Kookaburras know what that feels like. They had a similar situation there against Netherlands the other night. There it is, off the furniture. And now we see a chance for them to clinch it here. Cameroon.
This is golden glory.
Here we go. In it goes. There it is. Fantastic result for Cameroon. And the celebrations, I understand, haven't even stopped and aren't likely to stop in Cameroon for a month and a half. Roy?
Well, I think they're getting their information via NBC, HG, so I don't think they're going to find out that they've won the gold for another
3 weeks.
For another week or so.
Yes.
I hate penalty shootouts. They should just keep playing till someone scores.
Yes, golden goal.
Wouldn't matter if they were still out there.
Well, I've always had this idea that when they come to the end of... thanks, Pete. When they come to the end, you'd see us trying to get a message from the floor manager there. It was beautifully timed interruption.
Just said filibuster for another 20 minutes.
That's right. The advertised program is shot to ribbons. You'll have to do something else. Anyway, be that as it may. What I'd like to see is a golden boot. I know I've asked this in other codes.
Golden boot.
Now, what I'd like to see is a simple idea. Is as soon as the whistle blows full time, players have to stand exactly where they are, and an official runs on, somebody very, very special like Greg Norman or Earl McPherson. They walk on with a spade and dig up a spot which reveals the golden boot.
Which was buried earlier,
Buried earlier. The player nearest to the boot is the team that wins.
I like it.
Yeah.
It's much fairer. And much more interesting.
And requires a lot more skill. Right. Where do we stand? Do we stand here or stand here? I might come over and stand next to you.
It's still full time. Scatter!
Yeah, that's right. It's a sort of version of Boot Lotto. Yeah, but there's only one number in it. Look, it's a tremendous show tonight, apart from the subtractions or the late withdrawals. We're talking to a couple of very, very fine Americans. Probably the finest Americans I've ever met.
A couple of our best friends.
A couple of our best friends. And they come from a part of America that is really exactly the opposite of what Roy was talking about earlier. They're friendly, they're engaging, they want to be part of it, they're wonderful people, they give good crowd, all that sort of stuff. Johnny Drummond's coming in and Lawrence Johnson. Let me see. John was part of the winning team in the 4x100 relay tonight.
That's right.
And Lawrence Johnson got silver in the pole vault. So they're coming in, and we're going to talk about them to see whether they think that Addo can beat Maurice at any stage. Anyway, and we've got Lauren Jackson from the Opals and Ian Thorpe as well, plus more, and that winning total, all that on the green.
Y ahí viene, tomando mucha carrerilla, Joan Calderina, pierna izquierda. ¡Gol!
Bruce, he makes me loose. Oh, Bruce, I love being loose. Bruce, watching Bruce. So loose. I'm so
unfair critics have been bagging Bruce in these games. I don't think that's right, Roy.
I've heard no criticism of Bruce. Who's criticising Bruce?
People say hadn't got his usual zest.
I think he's had more zest than usual.
I do too. I think he's been zestful.
I think he's been right on the money. Beautiful calls.
He's worked his away beautifully.
Yeah. Away's been good.
Yeah. The hunger.
They're off and running.
Yes.
That was good.
One of these.
Yeah.
Thrown down.
Yeah.
It's all been there.
The Americans have come to run?
Yes, that's right. Yes. Now, look, in the audience tonight, we've got a very mixed and diverse group. We've got people from Germany, Adelaide, Wollongong, Sydney, Surrey Hills, America and Bolivia. Sadly, we say farewell to many people who have come and made Sydney a very special place over the past 2 weeks, and I'd like to farewell in particular Kegs Rusliakov, Chotty Patwong Prades, and Urs Burglar, the great Urs Burglar. They're all on their way home, unfortunately. Yes.
They're not staying for the closing ceremony?
No, I don't think so. I think they have pressing commitments elsewhere. Yes,
Kegs. Right? It's the Greco-Roman circuit, that chocker.
Indeed.
They've got to meet somewhere.
They'd be
in
thinking
Tokyo or something like that.
They'd be thinking of moving on. Moving on.
Okay.
Now, Roy, you had a total. The Fatso figure at the moment is around.
I think it was $75,100.
$75,100. Very good. Now. Some people, speaking of those three people we mentioned there who are whooping it up.
Chottipat, Kegs and Urs.
Kegs, Urs and Chottipat. Some people are still trying to compete. And we have the marathon tomorrow, and apparently the parties over at the village where the athletes are getting so intense that some of our athletes, especially in the marathon runners, are finding it very hard to relax and concentrate on the big one tomorrow.
Hard to stay focused.
I think it gets underway at 4 o'clock tomorrow afternoon, EST.
Yeah.
Now, how bad has it got? How rowdy is it over the village at the moment? Who's causing the trouble? And what's Mayor Richardson doing about it? You know, Mayor Richardson's got big raps on himself about running a tight ship over the village, but the pins have come loose in the last 24 hours, Roy. I mean,
They certainly have, yes. Look, Richard's doing nothing. Let's face it. Look, not too many problems, HG. I mean, the conga lines are getting out of hand. Those tin drums are driving people berserk. The bazookies are going, you know, almost 24 hours a day. You know, they've trouble with the English, trouble with the Dutch, obviously. They're party. The Lithuanians have gone absolutely berserk. They're just running around with frangers on and looking for... the Yugoslavians ditto. I mean, the Greeks, bloody hell, they're out of control. The Italians, the same. And Richo, he walks outside and then he gets pantsed.
And roped into an elephant walk. You know, there they are, tugging him into everything they can.
That's right.
I mean, and he's not
trying
resisting.
To say stop. They just grab him and start dancing with him. You know,
he's not resisting. He's loving it.
No, he's loving it.
So poor lead troop over there, one of our marathon runners, says he's like a dog on heat. There's so much, you know, of this gear going on.
Yeah. What, he's like a dog on heat, or the village is like a dog on heat?
No, he is, because there's so much gear happening around.
Oh, he wants to be part of that action. He can't be because bloody hell. But I have noticed that the residents in Lidcombe are complaining about the noise.
Are they? From the village? That's a big throw. Yeah. What would that be, 15 or 20 kilometres away?
Something like that.
Ooh. Oh, hell, it is rowdy.
It is rowdy.
Speaking of rowdy, freestyle wrestling, it's been the hit of the games, and we were lucky enough to get in and sneak the cameras into the 67-kilogram gold medal bout. We had the time of our lives. I mean, sure, it's not Greco-Roman, but it's bloody good. Yeah. Have a look at this.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Yes, welcome to Exhibition Hall's Darling Harbour 97-kilogram gold up for grabs. On the right, Baramukov from Kazakhstan in blue with the bandage on the chin, and Mortasaliviev from Russia in red. Roy, the bandage on the chin, will that show up Islam Baramukov?
Look, I don't think so, actually. The bandage on the chin is put on with a very, very old horse-based glue. And the Russian will attempt at some stage to tear it off.
Do you reckon that's he's foxing though, as he reaches now for the chin, the wily Russian reaching for the chin? Do you think he's going to work the chin over?
I think he'll work the chin over real hard because it's an obvious weak point.
We're early in round one. It's a nil apiece with the Russian right on top. He's going to work the Baramukov's head over. Here he goes, working that chin. That's the weak point. That's the weak point. Look at that pressure on the chin, on that bandage. I don't think he can take the strain in a gold medal meet and greet here in freestyle wrestling. Roy, hasn't it brought the crowds out tonight as we see Baramukov's coach live on television now? Doesn't he love his wrestling, Roy?
Certainly does.
That's Igor. And this will be one for your political buffs. Kazakhstan, a former socialist Soviet republic state, and Russia, of course. Now they've broken apart and going in their own way.
But this Mortis Saliev, he's immensely strong, HG. He'll dog this bloke as much as he can. He'll just dog him all night if Yep, here we go. If that kitty lets him. See, he's not strong. He's got the weak chin, and I don't think he's got the strength or the technique.
The elbows looks a bit dicky if that firmer guard is anything to go by. And now the Russian Saeed is really giving him the working over. He's trying to push his head through to China.
He's trying to get to the passivity zone too, I think. Oh, he's pulling back. You'll get a point for this, HG. Look at the strength.
Yes, here it is. The score's going now into the computer of that referee's mind. It's gold medal up for grabs here. Freestyle wrestling, one of the final meet and greet sessions of this whole 2 weeks, this whole magnificent 2 weeks, as that's the end of the first round.
We'll pick it up again in the second round, but look at the strength here. He lifts him up, he brings him over, he's got him dogged on his side. It's all working out beautifully for Mortasaliev.
3.5 into round 2 with Russia right on top here.
Oh!
A flurry of action there, but the Russian's too wily for the boy from Kazakhstan in blue. Oh yes, red Russia right on top here.
Look at the strength here, HG. He's going to really pinch him here with his legs and rip that chin. That's what he's aiming at. He wants to get that chin, fully expose it.
Yes, look,
pushing against it, try to push his head off, pull his ear off, and get that chin happening.
Rip that chin right off, at the same time squeezing with a vice-like grip with the thighs, right?
Yeah.
Look, he'd be, his bowel would be, if there was anything in there, it'd be oozing.
Oh, it would.
Spurting out
Sure would. And that he's got the bandage off now. He's really exposed that wound. Will he go in with the chin, into the chin? Yes, I think he will.
And try and open up that old wound. Of course, Baramakov injured earlier in the earlier rounds, so he comes in with a bandaged chin, looking for all for the world like Vincent van Gogh did when he was wrestling for Holland all those years ago.
Look, he's got that chin work happening already, HG.
There, he's got him down, the Russian. Baramakov at his mercy here, and the coach, Igor.
The coach is desperate.
Despairing.
And desolate.
He tries to go.
Well, now he can do anything with him, mate. He's got the door right open. He can put the head in. He can do whatever he likes.
He's got the knee there ready, poised for an assault at the back. He's trying to push one leg away while hanging on to the other. Oh, no, the Russian looks up to the referee to see if he's breaking any rules as he reaches for the jewels. Oh, no, it's a Russia right on top here.
He's pushing his jewels right into the mat. That hurts.
It's a real forced flat bag.
Yeah.
Unlike the gymnasts who do the flat bag for fun. Oh yes, we're in the dying stages of 97 kilogram gold medal bout here. It's Russia, Mother Russia, right on top. With Saheg there in the red.
Oh, he's working that chin with that left hand, HG.
He's
relentless.
Applying the pressure endlessly for the chin. And this Baramakov from Kazakhstan withstanding the pressure that Russia is applying. Now he gets out a bit and they break. Then they come back. They go the grope again. The chin, that's the target. He's got his hand on his shoulder and one behind his head to pull the chin down. The time's ticking away. We're in the final minutes of the bout. Oh, yes, the Russian coaches congratulate each other. And I think Russia has got the gold here.
I think so, HG, because you had him right dogged there right to the last.
The Russian coach is up, greeting the crowd and the knowledge, taking the applause. They've done all the work. The boy out in the middle just followed instructions. And so Mortasaliev from Russia gets the gold in the 97 kilogram class, silver to Kazakhstan. We're going to Princess Anne and have a look at how the boys' lunchbox are deported as the Princess Royal comes along and hands out the medal.
They're standing to attention, aren't they?
They are indeed, in this magnificent event run by Steve Redgrave and his team to become the first athlete to win 5 gold medals in 5 successive Olympics. Never been done before. And just have a look at how excited those Italian boys are. They're really excited. And don't tell me, firstly, that victory doesn't get you aroused, and don't tell me that they aren't all deliriously happy to be associated nearby the Princess Royal Princess Anne. She is still a real bloke magnet, isn't she? A real bloke magnet. There they all are lined
Proudly
up there.
Standing to
Proudly.
attention.
Even the Australians are infected by it. I think they might have come third in that particular event, but be that as it may, they got up close to the Royal. And
They did.
They found it a very, very safe.
yourself.
You can't.
You know what
You
I
can't.
mean? I'm going to sit down whenever she comes around.
Indeed, and it's a pity there weren't chairs available for those blokes. It would have been much less embarrassing a picture.
How proud are those blokes?
Really proud. I mean,
j'ai un nouvel ami dans le studio ici, un ami à vous présenter qui s'appelle Fatso. Voilà, regardez ça, c'est une superbe peluche.
Bonjour Fatso.
Voilà, c'est Fatso, The Fattest Wombat. C'est un wombat, c'est un marsupio. C'est un rongeur qui vit en Australie.
E questo è Fatso. Fatso è un personaggio molto importante, sarà messo all'asta alla fine dei Giochi Olimpici, non è in commercio, è la mascotte di Channel 7, la televisione australiana.
De gutta som kjører det showet liker ikke de 3 offisielle OL-maskottene. De er helt ute. Alle digger Fatso. De finner på så mye rart her nede. Hvis de skal spørre deg, kan du gi meg brødet, så sier de smack us in the eye with another hunk of dodger, will you, matey?
The toast of Europe, the Butler's Prince, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, they've all gone fatso crazy.
Doesn't a big
across
ass
Europe.
speak all languages?
It does indeed. It does indeed. Didn't the Italian set look ambitious?
Didn't it?
Yeah, that's amazing.
What was going on there?
I don't know. It looked like
It was bigger than Foreign Correspondent.
It couldn't be that big. Now, speaking of closing ceremonies, which we haven't been up until now, but we will for a couple of minutes, we've organised a very special dream send-off, hopefully involving the following: John Farnham, Shirley Strickland, Shane Gould, Herb Elliott, Ron Clark. Surprises there. Drew Morfitt, Gary Wilkinson, Dean Lucan, Kylie Gillies, Steve Foley, Michaeli Jones and Jai Wallace. So they're hopefully all with us as part of the closing ceremony here on the Dream. And speaking of closing ceremonies, Roy, a big one is planned for the main stadium, well, let's say just in over 16 hours' time.
Yep.
16 hours' time. And it's a very special night. Maestro Birch has let you in for a look at the plans. What has he got, you know, up his sleeve that he's...
Look, I can't reveal much.
No,
I can't. There are confidentiality agreements.
There would be.
I obviously can't reveal. But what it is going to show, HE, I think, is that Australians know how to party. This is going to be a real rip-snorting bloody party.
Rootin' tootin'?
Rootin', tootin', shootin' party. It's the sort of party that Jump and Jai could only dream of. But I do have I know two elements of it that I think is going to be interesting, and that is the inclusion of Maestro Tommy Tico.
Wow. That is big news, Roy.
And Maestro Jeff Harvey.
Maestro. It's a maestro off.
2 maestros are going to be fused together in one super band. Super band.
Yes.
And it's just, I think they're going to do Walk in the Black Forest.
Walk in the Black Forest. Very Australian, Roy. Followed up by Bombora by the Atlantic.
That's right.
Wow.
Look, I think it's music from all around the world.
Oh, right.
200 countries, 200 songs. Done in that Harvey, Tico, one will play to the other and listen, and the other will play back and listen. I think it might go for about 4.25 hours of just song to song to song to song.
And then the bit I'm very interested in, and I hope you won't mind me revealing this, is after 4.25 hours of maestro off, then the flame is rerun back down to the Parramatta River, which by this stage has been doused in petrol. Earl McPherson's dips the torch, and the river flame races down to Sydney Harbour, to the bridge, to the Opera House, and sets off all the fireworks.
That's right.
Is that how it works?
That's how it works. That's how it works. That's how it works. And then people can just scoop up as much dead fish as they want. Which they then can put on a barbecue
and eat for breakfast.
And eat for breakfast.
Yep, it's tremendous.
No, great.
Look, can I say, you saw in the opening play-on for that item.
Yeah.
You saw a man, a foreigner, a European, do exactly the Australian thing with mascots. He basically threw out one lot of mascots and focused on the other mascot, the Battler's Prince. We have another equally interesting demonstration of how the Battler's Prince has come to dominate these games. It's the gold medal bomb. Let's cross over to Steve Foley and Drew Morfitt now, who are calling it For the Dream.
Here's Ollie up on high on the tower. Haven't seen much of Ollie during the games.
Oh, very poor landing. It was not well executed at all. And the somersault started. Beautiful rotation, but there's a twist on the way down and flat on the back. You can see there the twist on the way down. No, very poor entry, very little splash.
And the scores here remarkably high from the AOC. The volunteers and the foreigners and the NBC didn't rate it much at all. Here's Millie, looking confident, has been diving well.
Yes, a lovely swimming costume. Oh, the inward rotation. It was a pretty good effort, but once again, make a huge mistake on entry. Looking for the big splash, but there was just hardly any splash at all. So a disappointing dive for Millie.
Well, the New Zealander, NBC and the IOC rated at just an ordinary dive, and once again the AOC remarkable with their high scores. Dickhead. What a diver. And Dickhead about to give his best at the Olympics.
Oh, incredible reverse rotation. But you'll see in slow motion, he has landed on his Jets crackers. That has to be painful.
Well, he just hasn't nailed that one at all. But once again, the AOC have gone very high on the scores, and the others didn't like it much at all. Disappointing for Dickhead. The boxing kangaroo about to punch out a big one.
What an incredible fast spin. But I cannot believe the errors on entry. Now remember, we're looking for a huge splash on entry. Quick rotation, but faltering as they hit the water. You can see there, very soft landing. Just not good enough.
Well, the IOC didn't like it much. Australia, volunteers, no good at all. The AOC again have gone big. Fatso, the Australian hero. The Wombat who's been everywhere at these games and killing them. Here he goes with his 10-metre bomb.
Oh, sensational entry from Fatso. The fat-ass Wombat has nailed his entry and straight to the bottom of the pool. Oh, very impressive diving from Fatso. Look at that for a landing, and the fat ass pointing back to where he came from. Great slow motion shot of the fat ass, and what a landing.
Steve, I can't believe that. The others couldn't even break the surface, but his rip entry just got him there.
Well, it's the advantage of having a fat ass, and it paid dividends here on the entry. He took a risk, but he's nailed that dive, and it could be the gold medal dive.
Let's have a look at the scores now, and right across the board, perfect 10s, great scoring, except the AOC again couldn't find a score. Nil from the AOC, and even 9.5 from the New Zealand judge. But as far as the crowd is concerned, here's the winner. Fatso emerges, clearly the gold medalist and the hero of the public here at Sydney 2000. Well done to Fatso, the bomb king of Sydney.
The Prime Minister standing on his feet, as he should.
There's no doubt about it. They've really worked that and thought that through.
Yeah, I have.
And Fatso's got gold in the bombing, which I hope will now go on to Athens and become, much bigger than it was in Sydney, and maybe more countries could enter. It's a bit Australian-centric, but demonstration sports have to start somewhere.
They do.
And
they do. I'd like to see the little bloke wedge his way into Athens.
Yeah, it would be fantastic. And wouldn't it be good to go...
Crowbar his back door into Athens.
I tell you what, wouldn't it be good to get gold in Sydney and gold in Athens in the bomb?
Yes.
And I have to thank Drew Morford and Steve Foley for putting that together, and in recognition of their handiwork, a dream pin is on its way to your boys, and also for his help throughout the series to Aussie Joe Bugner, Seven's senior boxing commentator. We couldn't have done it without you, Joe. And a dream pin is on its way to you.
It is.
Just magnificent work from all three here on Seven's Dream. We'll take a break and come back with some opals in a moment. Ping, pong, ping, pong, ping, pong, ping. Ping, pong, ping, pong, ping, pong. Down a dirty road. Ping, pong, ping, pong, ping, pong, ping, pong. Yes, and now can you welcome from the Opals, the silver medal winning Opals. Can you welcome Lauren Jackson and Michelle Timms? Yes, and thanks for coming in tonight. And it must be a bittersweet experience. You had a fantastic match yesterday, where everybody was high as kites, and then today the fairy tale couldn't quite dot the I and cross the T's of a final chapter.
Yeah, no, it's a bit bizarre at the moment, trying to work out your emotions. Like, you know, in hindsight, I wish we just rung them up and said, look, you take the goal, we're out with the silver, and let's be done. You know, instead we went the extra step, and we thought we were going to beat them, but on the day they were just too good, and then they ended up kicking us by 20. It's not a 22, so it's a weird feeling at the moment, isn't it, Loz?
Yeah, definitely.
Poor little thing, she's a little bit shy.
Did yesterday take it out of you? It seemed to me you weren't as on song now, and I don't know whether that's because the Americans didn't let you.
Yeah, no, I think it was more that. Wouldn't you say? Like Loz had a tremendous game. She had
Great
20
game.
points and 13 boards. Like she probably won gold, but unfortunately, you know, like we couldn't match it with them, and I don't think we, you know, blew our stack yesterday. I just think that they played a tremendous game. Like they shut us down, they stopped us from being in control of the game by any stretch of the imagination. So full credit to them, as much as I hate saying that about the Americans, but hey.
Well, you're in company there.
But Lauren, it did appear to get a little bit personal. Is it Lisa Leslie? Did it get a little bit personal between you two? It looked as if it was.
Well, I didn't think it was personal, but I think she might have.
Yeah, well, she was doing a lot of talking, and you seem to be copying things pretty much on the chin, but she seemed to want to get me a bit more aggressive about it.
She got much more aggressive when I accidentally pulled her hair out.
Yes.
No.
Well, that can happen. That can happen.
But Loz wasn't to know that she was wearing a hairpiece. Like, I mean,
Like, she just got caught in it and it came out. I was like, oh my God, what is that?
Ended up on the base of it. It was like a dead rat. Like, it was the funniest thing you've ever seen.
Well, how did she? Well, she didn't like that by the looks of things.
No.
She looked, as they'd say, mightily pissed.
Oh, she was pretty upset. Running down the court and like getting obscenities yelled at me. It was really quite nice.
And trying to get what was left of her head together. That was a tough thing for her because there wasn't much hair left and she had to try and scrunch it all in this little thing. So it was probably the highlight of the game actually. Well, it wasn't too many highlights to see, but that was phenomenal. Like everyone, the whole stadium's like going, you. Hey, nice dude.
And is there much sledging in a match like that, or?
Yeah, there is quite a lot of sledging, but it comes from both parts. It's not. It's just part of the game, I guess. It comes along with everything.
And is she trying to upset you, given you're playing well? Is she trying to put you off your game?
Oh no.
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
Be nice. Forget nice. You know?
No, look, the Americans are a great team, and you know I'm quite young, and I've just sort of come into the scene the last 3 or 4 years, and well,
they feel threatened by her. Like, you know, they know that Loz one day is going to come into the WNBA, and they're hoping, you know, the WNBA is hoping next year. Lisa Leslie, I think, is hoping never, you know, like, so whenever they play, it's like, you know, that especially Leslie tries to take it, you know, she tries to take her on, but unfortunately she doesn't quite understand how good that she is.
Yes, a lot of mind in it. Yeah, trying to get on top. You know. Listen, in a match like that, is there a point where you think this is lost?
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, in the end, it's 20 points down, but it must have occurred to you a long time before that this is lost.
Yeah, no, look, the good thing about the Aussies is that in any sport we're battlers and we'll you know, we have the never say die attitude, and I think that's really come through the whole Olympics, but and especially with the Opals, you know, and like we'll get up in full court press, but I think with you know, 5 minutes to go, we're 20 down. We kind of know the writing's on the wall, but it's important for us. People paid good money to come watch us play, and we wanted to, you know, fight it out to the end. You know, we didn't want, and it, you know, especially me, it was my last game, so I was, you know, like, you know, just trying to.
But you did a lot bloody better than the Woodies, who managed to go out, and I didn't dare say it to them on the other day. The Woodies ended up losing their match on Todd serving up 2 double faults. That was the end of his match. I mean, it's just much worse.
I don't know whether it's much worse than getting your butt kicking by, kicked by 22 points.
Yeah. Well, it just got away, didn't it? Because for so long you were within 7 points, 8 points, then 10 points, and that gap sort of stayed there most of the way and then just fell away in the last 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, Christy Harrell went down and she was having a tremendous game for us.
She was having a great game.
And that really...
What happened? Was it the ankle?
No, up her foot somewhere.
Right.
And hopefully she'll be all right because she's got a contract to go play in Germany and she heads off a couple of days after the closing ceremony. So hopefully she's going to be okay. But that kind of hurt us a little bit because she was having a great game. She's had a great, tournament for us too. So.
And someone was fouled off.
Yeah, other big player.
Yeah.
Jenny Whittle.
Jenny Whittle was
4 fouls in the first half. So she got fouled off and. It was, it was a
Look,
big
can
ask.
I say I thought the refereeing was pretty ordinary. I thought there were a lot of charging fouls that the Americans weren't picked up on.
Yeah. Well, the thing is, here's the problem: is that all the referees want to get a gig in the WNBA.
Yeah.
So need I say more?
Yeah. Well, that seemed to me glaringly bloody obvious.
They'll send their tape over for an audition. Have a look at me here.
Yeah, that's right. I did a good job. No. Look, the Americans at the end of the day, they played a terrific game. As much as I hate admitting it, they were the better team on the day.
Mm-hmm. Now, Lauren, looking back over the whole fortnight, what do you reckon were the best matches, the most memorable matches, and if you could isolate a couple of fabulous moments?
Well, I only have one fabulous moment, and that was when her hair came out.
It definitely was my highlight of the tournament.
No, I think the whole tournament was just awesome for me and for all the girls. We played great. We played sensational the whole time, and we didn't play so well in the grand final, but the whole thing was just such an experience. I'll never forget it.
Do you want to play WNBA? Of course you do.
Oh, no. not necessarily.
Not necessarily. Where would you prefer to? No. Where would you prefer to play? Would you prefer to go to Europe, like Michelle
I'd prefer to stay in Australia for a little while. I love Australia, and I'm not prepared to leave here. I'm not I don't think I'd like it over in America and how they all are.
Rollerblading.
Right.
I'd rather just finish out my teenage years being a teenager.
Fair enough.
Basically.
Beautifully summed up. Have we got any overlay of tonight's match? Is there any footage of tonight's match? I hope there's a couple of highlights here. Here we go.
Here we are.
Now you're down here by about 9 points.
There's a three-pointer.
I can do the maths. 11 points.
There's a three-pointer by the looks of things. What, 20 points you scored?
And there's the silver medal presentation. That was just a quick highlight there. Here's another highlight here.
What's that bloody boxing kangaroo doing there?
You've got to get your priorities right.
That's right.
And there's happy scenes there.
But he was busy in the pool.
Yes, that's right. That's right. And so does the nucleus of the team stay together now for the next, whatever the next phase of the Opals is, or a number of people in your position?
No, myself and Shelley Sandy are the only two that'll probably say goodbye as of tonight. But the rest, the future's, as cliche as this is, the future's looking extremely bright for Australian basketball.
Are you going to throw down the gauntlet to other teams? I bloody well hope so. And is Tom kicking on?
Oh, I think he'll be kicking back with a few reds.
No, that's right. But I meant as coach.
Oh, as coach. Oh, got to get I was just getting the priorities right.
No, that's right.
Well, I guess that's a big question too. Hopefully he will, and Basketball Australia would kind of be stupid not to hire him again. But he's done a tremendous job. He was only with the team since '93, so in 7 years he's taken us from, not even being in '92 Olympics to winning a bronze and winning a silver. So.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
Chin chin.
Will you spend any time socialising now with any of the members of the other teams? Will that happen?
Especially the person who's minus the hairpiece.
No.
Socialise with us. We're going to go and have a bit of fun tonight with our family and friends and just people closest to us.
That makes a lot more sense.
And look, thanks very much for coming in this evening. And I know it's hard often to turn up for these things straight after a bit of a downer, but you've done incredibly well. You've got further than any other women's basketball team in the Olympics ever. That is the Australian team. And Michelle's got one of these already. So, Lauren, on behalf of everybody connected with the Dream, we'd like you to accept this as a souvenir of your time with us here this evening. And all the best to both of you in the future, no matter what you do. And just look into the camera here for a bit of a snap. There you go. Hey, can you please thank Lauren Jackson and Michelle Timms?
Dream, whenever I want you.
7 News with Melinda Gainsford-Taylor.
Good evening. We gave it our best shot in front of a fantastic crowd, but we just couldn't get a medal. Australia's 4x400 metre women's relay, including Kathy Freeman, Tamsin Lewis, Nova Perez-Nevo and me, finished 5th in tonight's final. But we did get an Australian record. The United States won, giving Marion Jones her 3rd gold medal for the Games.
Freeman is raising her stakes. She's flying at the end. It's going to be too late. It's going to be a 4th place for the Aussies. It's USA, Jamaica, Russia, Australia, all close. It might be 4th or 5th because Ogunkoya dipped at the end.
The Australian men's hockey team finished its Olympic campaign with bronze medal tonight after beating Pakistan 6-3. The Kookaburras also took the bronze in Atlanta.
Brennan working towards the circle, goes for the reverse himself.
Oh,
and puts it
yes.
away. Hey, it's party time. They're a happy bunch of Kookaburras. They take the bronze medal here by 6 goals to 3.
Australia's hopes of a 2nd gold medal in Taekwondo have been flawed by Korea's Kim Kyung-hun, who tonight beat Daniel Trenton in the final of the men's heavyweight division.
Kim with a punch into the body, and he is going to outlast Daniel Trenton. Time will expire, and the Korean has done enough. Daniel Trenton disappointed that he couldn't emulate the performance of Aussie Lauren Burns, but a silver is nothing to be ashamed about.
Australia's Matthew Helm and Robert Newbery have finished 8th and 10th respectively in the men's 10-metre platform. It completes the diving program.
Outstanding Matthew Helm. What a great way to finish the Olympic final in absolute style. Nice jump. Beautiful twist and pike position on the somersault, and a great entry. Matthew Helm has put on a class performance here this evening.
Olympic legend Dawn Fraser has expressed a wish that the Sydney Olympic Games will result in people of the world caring more for each other.
I'd like to believe that after the magic of these games, the peoples of the world will care for each other more.
The Fraser sentiment was echoed by Shirley Strickland.
Peace. It needn't be a dream. It's possible. All it needs is all the human shoulders to the wheel.
And before I said goodbye to the dream, time to check the medal tally. The United States on top from China and Russia, and here comes Australia in 4th position with a magnificent 16 gold medals, 24 silver and 16 bronze for an overall haul of 56. That's it. That's all for me. Have a good night, and don't forget to keep cheering for Australia tomorrow.
Well done. Well done. Now, I can't think of many newsreaders who'd come off the track an hour later and read the news.
No, it does take multi-skilling to a new level, doesn't it?
It does.
I can't think of the reverse, though. You know, it'll be like you going out for a pole vault tonight.
That's
at 1:30 a.m. Come to think of that's entirely on the cards. Melinda, thanks very much for coming in. Now,
My pleasure.
You've got a great highlight, I reckon, from these games, and that is that you beat Marion Jones in a race. Now, you're getting the T-shirt printed up and, you know, going into merchandising this fact.
Well, actually, I've been very lucky because our team management got me the photo finish. So I'm going to frame that. And when my kids are about 8 or 9, maybe I can tell them then that I once beat Marion Jones. But
And she was running flat out, wasn't she? Faster than she normally runs.
I would love to say that, but...
did you know you could see her obviously slowing up and you knew you could take it, and so you thought, bloody hell, here's my chance, I'm going to get it?
Actually, I did. It was really quite interesting because, you know, I'm coming up there and I think, yep, she's slowing down. And I'm thinking, there's 110,000 people. Should I do it? Why the hell not? So I did. So it was good
She
fun.
appeared to be looking at herself on the screen.
Yes. Oh, did she?
Yeah, because she was looking over that way and you snuck through this way. Do athletes do that? Are they watching themselves on the screen much?
I think when you're at the level that Marion Jones is, you did. Like the first round I did because I knew that, you know, you had another 3 rounds to go.
Yes.
So you just want to make sure you don't blow out or anything.
Yeah.
So I did the first round, but the second round I just couldn't afford to.
Right.
Yeah.
And is she an intimidating presence when you're getting ready to go out and...
Oh, not particularly. She's actually a really fantastic person.
Yeah.
She's got a, you know, great composure, and she's, you know, she's very friendly, which is always great. But I, you know, love racing against her. It's, you know, it's wonderful fun, and you know, I've been lucky because I ran against her in the 4x4 leg tonight. So I've run against her in the 1, 2, and 4. So it was, you know, it's a great experience, and you know you're mixing it with the best, and that's what the Olympics is all about.
So you'd feel as if you've made friends? Have you made friends with...
She says hello, Mel. That's pretty exciting.
Right, when you're in there, getting the chips and the hamburger. Hello, Mel. You look around, Marion Jones, that's fantastic.
It's quite nice, isn't it?
Yeah. And you mentioned there that it's fun. Is it fun?
Oh, it's so much fun. It really is. And going out for the 4x4 tonight, it was a little bit nerve-wracking because I haven't run all that many. Yeah. And it's amazing when you walk out there into the stadium. 110,000 people are there cheering for you, and it's really quite calming. Yeah, it's
calming.
Yeah, I know. That sounds amazing. It is very calming. Like you're sitting out, going through the call rooms and things, and thinking, okay, what do I have to do, and focusing on all that sort of stuff. But having that crowd there pushing you is really awesome.
So you feel as if you're with 110,000 mates.
Yeah, exactly. No, it's so true. So many people are yelling out your name and cheering you on, and it was really helpful for me in my 200-metre final, and it's just an incredible experience because I feel really blessed that I'm in an era where I can get out and enjoy the Olympics in my own city.
And if you know where people are sitting like family and friends, can you actually see them there?
No, I'm looking hard. I tell you, I was
you might know they're up there
hard.
somewhere, but you haven't got a hope.
No, like for the opening ceremony, I was trying to see my sister-in-law and her sister, and I was trying so hard, and I went like 5 rows back. It was taking so long, but it was just too difficult. There's so many Australian flags and green and gold socks and things. It was too hard.
Now, Roy's brought in something for you tonight.
This is your
He's
rose.
grown this himself. Yes.
This is a Melinda Gainsford Taylor rose that we pulled out of the backyard this morning. It just bloomed. Truly, it bloomed in the back.
Sure?
Yes, it bloomed in the backyard this morning.
Right.
And it's a little bit early on. It gets deeper of cup as the season goes on, and it's a little closer to Broadway than it normally would be. But the colour will come true a little bit later on. But that's your rose.
It's his liquid manure. The liquid manure that's the secret.
Oh, the worm manure. Yes, that's right. And we have.
Look, I'm so excited about this.
Here it comes. I wish the Fatso made a noise. You're like, so to come across.
Thank you so much.
Melinda, thanks very much for coming in and reading the news tonight. Have fun tomorrow, and all the best for the future. And keep running, keep having fun.
Thank
you.
And
Fatso, I'll remind you of your time here. Can you please thank Melinda Gainsford Taylor? Well done, matey. Thanks very much. That's really good.
Olympians, we salute you. Eric, we love you so. Wurzburgler, we adore you. Kegs, you gave us a show. Oh, Marius, we'll never forget you. Marlet, the loveliest I've seen. Hello to Wang and all the boys from everyone at the Dream.
I've got dreams, dreams to remember. I've got dreams, dreams to remember.
Well, this has been the best week for me because I've got to meet like so many famous people, and I've been standing on the corner down there for the week, like just holding up this sign, and I've got this little bottle from a guy called Chris Unthank, which is an Australian steeplechase person, and I got a scrapbook, and then they're my tickets for the softball, and I bought a softball. The local paper I'm in, on page 9, it's just saying that I was on the corner and I'm from George's Hall and all that. Well, it's been excellent because you've met so many cyclists from all over the world, and I'm really proud that we had it here.
So yeah, it's been fantastic. It's been a cultural uplifting experience for us out here at Horsley Park. Probably the good times here that we've had. It's just been one party night after another. It seems to be like a 16-day piss up with a little bit of horse riding in between. So they're certainly enjoying themselves, yeah. Oh, we've made lots of friends, and everyone's exchanged a hell of a lot of addresses here, and sold a lot of t-shirts with my name on it and that, and I dare say there'll be a lot of people saying we're in the bloody old Horsley Park, somewhere in the depths of the States, but hopefully they'll all remember it and say, mate, it was a bloody great place to be at. The Olympics would probably make my bank manager very, very happy with me. hopefully after this I can go away and have a holiday, which will be quite good, and look forward to maybe now having enough money to go to the Athens Olympics.
Well, it's exciting when you heard everybody and everybody's walking past with flags and all that. That was good. But I'm not really into volleyball. I'm glad that the volleyball is finished and the beach is going to be cleared up. It might come back to normal. Look the way it should look.
And how about the day that Paraston Cook won gold?
I didn't know.
How did you find out?
Oh, you told me. Oh, Dad.
Yes,
I find that astounding.
It affects people in different ways, doesn't it? The Olympics, yes.
Some people just try to imagine it didn't happen.
Yes, yes. Yeah. And of course, the bank manager out at Horsley Park, they'll be getting a promotion into a big city branch now. leaving the equestrian scene behind.
And Ashley was terrific. She had the right spirit.
Well, she did, yes, of course. And g'day, Ashley. We haven't been saying g'day enough tonight because I'd like to leave.
That's the first time, I think.
I think it is.
G'day.
How are you, Roy?
Yeah,
g'day. And we'll be saying g'day later on in our Hearts of Gold Bronze Out special to Johnny Farnham, Shirley Strickland, Shane Gould, Herb Elliott, Ron Clark, Drew Morfitt, Gary Wilkinson. Got to be good to get Gary in one at Horsley Park, the king of Horsley Park. Dean Lucan, Kylie Gillies, Steve Foley, Michaeli Jones and Joy Wallace. We'll be saying g'day to all of them later on. And Roy, speaking of saying g'day, with the Olympic Games being in Sydney, it's been such a success that the world wants to know basically how we did it. How we did it. They want to know our expertise in putting things together. How to build places. How to lure out Barry White so as the vibe keeps going. How to get World Wrestling Championships out here. You know, so you can say g'day to Sid Vicious and so on. Roy, how do you see this happening? Have we really captured the world's imagination vis-a-vis your bloody big events?
I think we've caught a fair bit of attention, yes, HG. I know Commissioner Peter Ryan is going to head up security in Athens.
Is he?
I know Sandy Holway will be part of the Athens organising committee. Yes. I know
Michael Knight.
Michael Knight will be going to Athens
almost immediately
to take over. A lot of people are feeling pretty good about that.
Kevin Gosper's over
Kevin
there.
Gosper's there already.
He's chairman.
As chairman, I think Maestro Birch is doing the opening ceremony and the closing ceremony. So it's basically another Sydney Olympic Games. It's going to be in Athens. That's all. That'll be the only difference. That'll be absolutely identical.
And
beautifully run.
Is there any detail? I mean, things like, will they issue guidebooks to, say, commentators to include things like battered salve?
Yes.
Hello, boys.
Yes.
Crazy date, party date, Chico roll. Yeah, all that's going to happen.
Athens television, Greek television, they'll have that sort of thing.
They have meeting and greeting sessions, like,
Yes. They'll have their volunteers, they'll have the lot.
Right.
Yeah,
Sydney
it's all going to be the
volunteers?
same. Sydney volunteers, they're all going out.
Same uniform?
That's right. I think we're breaking this news now. The government of Athens will be bringing all the Sydney volunteers to Athens.
Will it be called the G'day Games again?
Yes, I think it
will. We'll have a blimp up there with G'day written on it again.
That's right.
Yeah. Oh, that's great. I didn't realise they were going that far.
Oh, no.
I mean, I thought they might have taken a few ideas on
they've taken the lot.
The lot.
The bloody lot.
Is the velodrome going over?
Yep.
Ashley?
Yep.
Right, good. That's good.
Horsley Park.
Horsley Park, the lot. Now, Roy, one of the things, of course, that you and I have been able to observe up close, and we've seen many things that have really, really educated us here at these Olympics. We were pretty ignorant about gymnastics when it started, but bloody hell, that didn't prevent us from having fun at it. And so let's see how much fun we had at the gymnastics one day earlier in the Games. Superdome, the Grand Old Girl, and we've got women's gymnastics team final up, and Dong Fengxiao up from China on the floor routine. Roy, she selected Zorba the Greek as her theme music. Beautiful cross-pollination, multicultural event. Here she goes. And away she goes, a beautiful tumbler, this girl from Shenzhou province.
She started off with a spin of the date, HG.
She did. Here she comes. Oh, look at that battered salve. If a male performer did that, you'd have to carry him straight off, wouldn't you? That was a brilliant salve.
Yes.
And now, of course, the slight Dutch wink.
Slight Dutch wink. Vertical Dutch, or horizontal, I should say, Dutch wink, HG.
And now she's moving towards the far corner on the knees, doing the diddly squats. And this girl has made the diddly squat her own, as we'll see a little bit later. Here she goes right up into the corner to begin what I think will pass that'll end up in a beautiful diddly squat. I think if we can get this will be brilliant if the camera can stay with us. Here she comes.
Oh,
there's the squat.
Yes.
Beautiful squat. Unfortunately, it was a squat out of bounds. She now's going back towards the far corner.
Another twinkle with spin the date. Very nice.
Here she comes doing the little squats now and the pony steps. The story, of course, of the long march, as all Chinese gymnasts are wont to do. It's a beautiful story of people Dutch winking their way out of the sav. Enormous. There's the diddly squat on the knees, and then she goes to the corner for the final pass. Tremendous routine here, Roy.
It's a very tight, wonderful routine, HG. She's really thought it through, and it does evoke Zorba and Mao. That's what I like about it.
And here she comes, returns to the centre with a lovely little spinning the date and a horizontal Dutch wink in the vertical plane.
Position of the
That's
Dutch wink.
beautiful.
Marvellously controlled, HG. She should be very happy with that performance.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that from Dong from China.
No.
And
I'd give it about 9-3, I think.
9-3, yes, as we watch again.
Here she goes with the spinning of the date, with twinkle.
And twist.
Twist.
Yes, Yang Wei up now from China, and very, very exciting, a very, very exciting prospect. Here's Wigwams with Felge, Roy. I mean, there's been very big raps in the Sydney media already about this bloke. He put on a display, I understand, at the last lap last night of Wigwams with Felge on the bar, and he had everybody in uproar.
Yep.
Here he comes now into the corner and ready to start. Yang Wei from China. And China, God, what a place. Incredible gymnastic talent, so deep. I think he began gymnastics in the womb, Roy, this boy.
I think so.
They passed in a bar.
It goes back to the Ming dynasty, doesn't it?
It does indeed.
All the way back. Oh, look at that. Marvellous corkscrew.
Fantastic repositioning.
Just as a settler. Just as a settler.
He's just feeling the mat here.
Feeling the mat. Feeling the mat.
Look at that. Look at fantastic. Bangs the bat.
Straight into that. Straight into that hello boys there, HG. And here we are, a closed door, and then a 360-degree look at that party date.
And also little hello boys there. The
hello
hello boys on the top of the party date. And very good work. Tool bag, flat bag. Hands in the air.
Perfectly controlled. Will he go into a hello boys out of that? Yes, he is, and closes the door, and it's me.
That's right. Then he closes the door in the vertical. It's not me. Everyone's home. And he goes on and finishes it up with another beautiful pass into everyone's home in the vertical position. Then he moves on across the mat. Look at that corkscrew dive there. That was fabulous as he comes to the final starting position of his final pass here at the Superdome in the gymnastics.
Can he nail this?
He's up there. He is. It's a beautiful. A bit of a problem in the landing.
It did have a bit of rusher about it, that landing, didn't
it? It did. But I would have given that a bottle of chew, Roy.
Yeah.
A bottle of chew for that one.
For sure.
Yes, and coming up after the break, we'll be joined by two of the greats, silver medalist in the pole vault, Lawrence Johnson, and super runner, John Drummond. Stay tuned for that on The Dream, right here. Equatorial Guinea has no swimming pools, and so it's probably wise to look for the end of the lane here.
That's
and you'll notice the camera
at
the bottom of the ball.
turn,
Let's have a look at this. Yes.
A little bit slow, but he's got the right idea.
He's got the mechanics of it down, Roy, and this is the Olympic spirit writ large here at the Sydney Aquatic Centre this morning in Heat 1 of the 100 metres free, as we see a one-competitor race. Sole competitor from Equatorial Guinea, Eric Musambani. Roy, bring it home. Bring the boy home, Roy.
It's only the clock he's beating now, HG.
Let's see if he can get a
let's
record.
See if he can get a record. Now, we know the world record's about 48 seconds, do we? Something like that?
Correct.
He's up to 1:07. We thought he'd struggle in the last half of the second lap, HG, and he is.
Here he comes now.
Come on, Eric.
He's got a chance to get the Equatorial Guinea record, though, and I think he's right on target for the Equatorial Guinea record.
What is the Equatorial
History
Guinea record,
in the making.
It's
I think
151?
153, I think, Roy.
153.80,
which Eric holds. Here's a very big chance. He's got a very big chance to go under the Equatorial Guinea record.
Come on,
here.
Eric.
Heat 1 of the 100 metres free here at the Sydney Aquatic Centre.
Put in.
A lot of support here today. Go, Eric.
Go, Eric.
Eric.
Bring it in.
Come on, Eric.
Come on, Eric. You can get there. Two laps, man. You've only got a little bit left.
There's the end of the pool.
Come on,
There's
Eric.
the line. Look at the world records down in the corner.
48.80. Forget that. That's meaningless now. Come on, Eric. You can show. Can he do it? Come on, Phil.
He's got it. He's got an Equatorial Guinea record smashed here at the Sydney Aquatic Centre by the great Eric Musambani. Forget Thorpe. Forget Klim. Focus on Eric.
Mark, I can tell you right now, mate, we'll go into the grave with this. I don't like you one little bit.
That's right, keep going. But do you have to go and see Graham personally for the condoms?
Oh, actually, I don't know. I've heard a lot of stories about the Cubans, though. The Cubans are going through them like they're going out of fashion. The strawberry-flavoured ones, they've really been getting into them. And they've got a real bit of a mafia thing going with the old condoms. So I think the Cubans are winning that race. They're winning gold in
the
that.
market. Yes, that's
Do you
right.
spend much time with you know...
The Cubans?
No, not so much the Cubans. Have you tried any of our ganja and what's it like?
That's facing the issues right here, confronted.
Yeah. Have you had any?
I have not.
No spliffs? No. Nothing? Nothing?
No, I'm reformed.
Oh, no, I understand that. But surely you can let your hair down now. You've got the bloody gold medal. You can put your feet up and party a little bit. With the Sports Illustrated, there must have been a bit of gear going around.
I didn't see it.
Didn't see it? Okay, fair enough.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you welcome from the United States Athletics team, John Drummond and Lawrence Johnson. Thanks very much for coming in tonight, John. And you've been running over in the main stadium, and we should have a look at your race right now. It's here you go. You'll be able to see yourself. Maybe you haven't seen this before. It's up on the. Yeah, here you are posing after the race.
I'd like to see.
Yes, I'm not sure whether this is before or after, but there you are. Obviously, you've won there. I don't know whether we've got the race actually. Now that we look about it, the director was so taken by all of this. You know what directors are like. That's fantastic.
Yes.
And the show business element shouldn't be denied in running, though, should it?
No, definitely not. I think you guys don't understand we expend so much energy and the emotion that we put into our race when we finally finish and actually achieve the goal. This is how we release it.
Yes,
you know?
yes. And it went on for a while tonight.
It did.
He's the heir apparent. You know, John Drummond is the clown prince, but that's my heir apparent.
Yes,
that's the heir apparent right there.
Doesn't look as though we've got the race, but we've certainly got the aftermath. That's all right.
It's better than the race.
Now,
great guy.
Last night we had Atto on the show, and he thought that he would one day beat Maurice. Do you reckon he can?
Oh, he has.
He has?
He has. He was the last person, in fact, to beat Maurice in Lausanne, Switzerland.
Right.
Unfortunately, I was in the hospital when that race happened, so. But, you know, Maurice is human, and, I mean, he's an exceptional human. He's a phenomenon, I would say. He's a great person, and, I mean, he's really true to the game, true to the sport, and Otto Bolden the same, you know, great people. Hey, Otto. Since he said hi to me. You know, great guys to work with, and I was just happy to, you know, take part in their life and their success.
Now, you're a commentator as well, or I've seen you do some commentary, and you've done this great thing where, you know, you say the composure's a lot of rubbish in a race, and they all desperately want to actually get into the lead. Right. And what they do, they're all trying to correct what they're doing wrong. And you're the first person actually to come up with that, because commentators generally say, isn't so-and-so looking composed? Isn't Maurice looking composed? Isn't Atto looking composed? When it actually is, you're right, they're just working through what they have to do to get in front.
You know, our coach teaches us on a constant, you know, what to do right. But the truth is, when we get to that start line, it's like, so what? I want to win. Forget all that stuff. Just run, man, run.
Yeah. Now, do you...
Ozzy! I love that. I'm sorry, I had to do it.
I bet you do it once more before he goes.
Yeah. Do you, I noticed with people who leap the bar, hate that bloody bar. Do you hate distance or do you hate time?
I hate distance.
You hate distance?
I can't control time. There's no control over time, but I hate distance.
And Lawrence, do you hate the bar?
Days like today, I hate the bar.
You hate the bar?
I hate the bar. Because some people can hit the bar, and the bar will jump and come back, and it'll sit and stay, and then other people will come through, be way over the bar, and it still fall.
Yeah, I hate that.
It's kind of difficult.
Yeah. But you thinking hate when you're about to go, when you're about to unleash down, you thinking I hate that?
There's a lot of things you're thinking. You know, I wanted to get you all caught up on a few pole vaulting terms, so the next time you kind of commentate, and you can kind of add some of those things in.
Please.
For instance, we have one that's a lot of these techniques. Some of them you've seen here in Sydney. Some of them a little hard, so you haven't quite seen all of them. Like pick the berries. You know, when you come running down the end of the runway, you play at the pole, you get up over the top of the pole, and you sit on the top of the pole as you're going into the pit. That's called picking the berries. Now, if you make a mistake, it's called stabbing the gopher.
Stabbing the gopher.
Yeah, that doesn't feel too much. So, yeah, you got to be careful with that. You got to really watch for the pros. So, you know. Is that there?
I love that.
Is that there?
I want to take that home.
But Lawrence, how many berries would you pick?
You know, I think if you have any more than a couple berries to pick, I think you're probably in some kind of trouble. You might be in the wrong event. You might want to check another profession or something.
Right, okay. And the other is stabbing the gopher. Was that it?
Stabbing the gopher. Stabbing the gopher.
Okay.
We don't have terms in sprints.
No. In the pole vault the other night, the pole did damage one of the jumpers, the leapers, right at the top of the jump. He caught the pole with his cruets, as we'd say in Australia.
Right.
Did that send a shudder up your spine?
Well, you know, that's not one of the things you like to see, especially if you're the next one down the runway. You know, but yeah, it can definitely hurt. You know, there's some things that just aren't meant to be, and you know, having a pole thrust in certain places is not one of them.
He obviously picked too many berries.
Now, when you see a good performance, and people often say of a good performance that it was sort of what they call an out-of-body performance, meaning they could see themselves do it. Now, have you ever had that experience, and have you seen it happen to someone? So as you see Maurice running down the track, and then all of a sudden there's another Maurice upstairs going with him.
I've experienced that. But it was actually Maurice running down the track.
Yeah. The out-of-body experiences, definitely. I think I guess winning the silver medal wasn't quite an out-of-body experience. I think the next out-of-body experience I've experienced is winning the gold in 2004. That hasn't happened yet.
That hasn't happened. No. That's called prophecy, premonition.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. All right. Well, I guess I haven't had an out-of-body experience.
And how about you, John?
I think I've experienced it tonight. You know, once the relay was over and we actually got to stick around, it was like, hey, we actually got to stick around.
Yeah, right.
So it was an out-of-body experience.
Right. Rather than somebody else sticking around after you'd done roughly the same.
Yes. Or picking the bears.
Picking the bears. Look, we were talking a little bit earlier on in the program. We were reacting to an article written by Wallace Matthews, an American journalist, who suggested that Americans are hated by Australians. And yet, when you arrived tonight, you were saying what a terrific time you were having and how much loved you felt. Now, what's going on here? Who's right?
Well, I'll say this, in much respects to all the volunteers and all the people who gave up their time here, I would say we have had the warmest reception that I've ever experienced. I was in Atlanta in '96, and I mean, you know, America, they treated us beautifully, but I think the fact that you guys don't take yourself so serious and you guys so laid back, you help us enjoy ourselves. And I'll say this, if it wasn't for this show, I'd probably be the gold medalist, because I sat up so many nights and watched this and laughed. It's your fault. I gotta blame somebody. You're the blame. But I'm telling you, you guys are awesome.
Yeah.
And I'm serious, man. I mean, you guys help the athletes. I'm sure athletes all over the village that are watching this are saying to themselves, if it wasn't for you guys allowing us to not take ourselves so serious, because we spend so much energy, mental energy, not the physical, because that's what we do, but so much mental. We needed a comic relief, and you guys have been there for us. You guys and Tim Tams, and what's that chocolate ice cream bar like? What's the ice cream bar, the chocolate ice cream bar?
Magnums.
Not them, the other one.
The Putter.
No.
Peace.
Pedal Pops.
That's it.
Pedal Pops. That's what's up. Lifesaver for John Drummond, boy. They made me forget about 5th place in 100.
And look, we promise not to come to Athens, so as you'll be able to get gold and gold. And look, thanks very much for coming in this evening. And on behalf of everybody connected with the Dream, we'd like you to get your hands on these fabulous mementos
I'm gonna cry.
of your time in Sydney.
I wanted this more than the gold medal. I got mine!
I have to explain that John's come straight from Stadium Australia and he hasn't even had a shower yet.
I apologize if I'm offending anybody.
I'm holding my breath over here, but
that's all right. Keep holding it.
Yeah. Well, can I say on behalf of all Australians that Americans are always welcome here, because we might object to certain things en masse, but individually you are always most engaging people.
And can you please thank John Drummond and Lawrence Johnson. And before you go, can you just grab the little bloke and give us one of those familiar chants that you hear everywhere?
Ozzy, Ozzy, Ozzy! I love that.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks very much. Now we move on to the clean and jerk. First up, Mariusz Jedra from Poland. An exciting lifter, as been mentioned, and the talkback king here.
The talkback king's back.
He's been taking a few calls. He's got a routine into the bird poo. One of the few lifters today who uses the poo. Walks off.
Yep. Look somewhere else.
Counts to 20.
Yeah. Gathering his thoughts. Gathering his composure.
Composure here in this marvellous showcase for weightlifting. Let's have a look at what he can do here. He needs to remember, he's trying to tell himself to pick it up. Then he's got to work out.
He's very forgetful.
Bend over. He's very forgetful. He's very forgetful. Let's see what he can do here, though, Roy.
Doesn't that bloke look interesting between his legs there?
Joe's shot there. I always think that's Barry Unsworth. Up he comes.
Up he comes.
The talkback king. The talkback king. There he is. He's up.
He's up.
He's wandering around.
He's got that up. You could put it down now if you liked.
He doesn't have to hold
down.
it. Go on,
put it down.
He's forgotten to put it down.
Put it down.
What's going on? He's actually forgotten to put the down.
Oh, thank God for that. And yes, they're going to wave the flags to get him to put it down.
That's right. They can't, of course, they can't speak his language, Polish, the judges.
Yeah.
And now he's cross because they made him hold it up too long. But he's just got to remember to get out there, pick it up, hold it up, one, two, three, down. Because we watch and replay. He just forgets. He just goes.
Well, he turns around so he can't see the lights. I suppose that's it. And he's forgotten just why he's there. He's just a bloke holding a bar.
He's got a Mack truck on his head and he forgets to drop it. Yes, and now on the final dream for the 27th Olympiad, can you please welcome Ian Thorpe? Ian, it must seem an age ago that you're actually in the pool, given the events that have happened since.
It's about a week, but it seems like a lifetime. I've seen so much and seen so many different performances. It's great to actually be able to, to kick back and be able to enjoy the rest of the games, not having to worry about competing because that's all over. The Australian swimming team swim so well, and now we're able to enjoy the rest of the games and seeing the other athletes go through the hard work.
And highlights of things that you've seen, or things that happened in the pool, apart from obviously your own, brilliance.
Outside of the pool, things I've been able to enjoy. I thought obviously Kathy's race was amazing. At some times I saw myself in Kathy in that race. The lead up and then the aftermath of what Kathy achieved. Knowing, seeing her there, everyone thought that she was relieved. I knew that she was numb. Knowing, just trying to comprehend what she just achieved. That's something very difficult to do. And being able to sit there watching that and being able to share in that with Kathy was that's an amazing thing, and an amazing thing because all Australians got to see that, everyone got to witness that. Apart from that, the volleyball girls, the water polo girls, everyone's performed just so well. It's just been an amazing Olympic Games, and not just that, the highlight for me is I went to. I've gone to a couple of parties. One of them was a Sports Illustrated party, and I stood out there and met, the boss of Coca-Cola, the boss of General Motors. I met some people that are the bigwigs in the United States, and every one of them said, you've got a great place here. You've done this really well. And we're actually looking at moving here. This is ours. This is ours.
Understandably.
But, and Sydney has just done it so well. Everyone that's been involved with this has just made the Olympics something special, and something special for the rest of the world, and something special for the Australian athletes and the Australian public.
Yes, absolutely right.
We saw you that night. In fact, you joined us here on the show via the satellite, and you were with Misty and Carl and what have you. It was obviously a great night. Now, Have you seen many of the American athletes or swimmers at all socially around the village at all, or have they tended to keep to themselves?
Yeah, we have like the Yankee section and the Australian section.
Yeah.
There's a big gate between the two of us.
Right.
And and security either side.
That's right. So there's not much interaction.
Well, I'm lying. There actually is. You know, now, especially the swimmers. Now that everything's over, I think everyone that's finished their races is now able to enjoy it, now able to get along really well. I met the guys just a second ago, and it was great to see them. It was a great race. I was able to watch that tonight.
Yeah.
And so everyone's getting along pretty well.
So is it party at the moment over at the village?
Yeah,
it is.
For those that have finished and those that aren't finished are a bit annoyed about it.
Well, it must be hard for them, mustn't it?
It is hard because everyone's enjoying themselves. And enjoying competition. We've got one more day of this, and I think everyone's going to be making the most of it because this isn't going to happen again.
And is Richo reading out the riot act to people over there? Is he getting them settled down? You haven't seen him, have you?
Yeah.
He's done nothing. This reinforces our position.
On the loudspeaker at night, Room 22, could you turn out the lights and settle down, please? Bulgaria, stop doing what you're doing right now. And then in the morning he asks Bulgaria to come into the office, and he'll always say, there's one lot that spoil it for everyone else, isn't it? And you're it. No, he needs to be far more visible. That's my mail.
Yes.
My mail.
That's what I've heard.
Now, in future games, do you think that you would choose, say, the option that John and Maurice and so on did, and they've obviously set up camp away from the village, or do you think you would still, if you could, seek, a bit hard to know exactly what they do in America now, but sort of go into the village because it would be like-minded souls around you?
No. I love the experience of the Olympic Village. If every village is like the village that we've had here in Sydney, there's no reason to stay out. And in terms of security and a few other issues with traffic, I think it's best to be in the village, and that's where it's been designed to be catered for the athletes, and especially at this games, it's been done better than ever before. And there's no reason to stay out, and it's just an amazing and awesome feeling within the village, within the athletes. All the different athletes being able to share in everything that they do. The 6,000 people that can sit at one time in the food hall. It's just amazing that in every athlete in their chosen sport and their chosen event is probably sitting in that food hall, and it's that big you have absolutely no idea where they are. And, it's just,
so have you made new friends? Have you made new friends?
Made a lot of new friends.
Yeah. Of different nationalities? Because that's important. That's what you've got to do at the Olympics. I mean, it's celebrating humanity, it's peace, it's world getting together. It's
the fat-assed wombat.
The fat-assed wombat.
This is the symbol of the Olympic Games.
That's right. And I'm just wondering if you had a chance, I don't know whether you saw it, Fatso went in a bomb competition for gold and beat the other mascots who bothered to show up, the jumping kangaroo, Sid, Ollie and Dickhead. I'm just wondering if you had a chance to assess his form in that.
I actually didn't see it, which I'm unfortunate, but I'm sure he had an amazing performance.
Yes, he did.
No, it was beautiful.
Yes, the big ass came into its own.
Only the AOC marked it down, or it might have been the IOC marked it down.
No, that's right. Did I read that you're off to America to have a look at the Guggenheim Museum and this sort of stuff, galleries and what have you?
No, I'm not going to look at art. I'm going.
Why aren't you going to have a look at some art?
No, I've got other things that I've got planned, but I'm going to New York for 3 days.
Yeah. See some old mates, or new mates, as it turns out?
Yeah, I've got an appearance there I'm doing with Giorgio Armani there.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah, big gig in town that night.
For a swim?
Yeah, down the Hudson River, seeing how many syringes.
That's right. Shelley Taylor Smith style.
Yeah, that's it.
Are you going to be modelling gear?
No.
Well, what are you going to do?
I'm a swimmer, mate. That's
I know. Well, what are you going to be doing with Giorgio Armani?
Just doing an appearance there. It's opening of a section of the Guggenheim Museum dedicated to...
like the time you went to the Bloodhouse Hotel when they introduced...
up the back bar.
That's right, you opened up the back bar in the new playing strip with the footy boots on.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to open up the back bar. Is that how it is? You're going to be
something like that,
I'd like to open up the... Isn't that fantastic?
Do you get millions of requests of this sort of stuff?
A lot of requests. Most of them I can't do.
No.
I'm actually very lucky because I am taking this break. That's the first 3 days, and I'll actually be, you call that work, I'll be working that part, and then the rest of it I'm actually holidaying. I'm spending 8 days in South Africa, then back, I'm going to London for 3 days, and then to the States for 10 to 12 days with some of my mates.
Right.
You got a manager, you'd have to have a manager by now.
I do have
a couple
a
of
manager.
managers.
Yeah, a few. I've got a team.
Yeah. A team?
A team.
Like a football team.
Yeah, well, that's what I was going to ask, because people can't believe how composed you are after a sensational performance. You'll get out and you'll talk as if you've learned things? I mean, have you had training? Have you had training in how to respond to the media?
No. As soon as you have training, I guess you lose yourself.
Okay.
You're not able to, you're not allowed to say things, that you'd want to say. And,
okay.
Haven't been trained to do anything, and I think it's disappointing because everyone just fits into a mould as to what everyone wants to see, and you have to be an individual in this.
Okay. Oh, that's fantastic.
It is good. It is good. I was trying to think of, maybe Roy, you could, take Ian in hand, maybe suggest a few things about, based on your experiences at the Bloodhouse Hotel.
What, how to open it?
Well, just in case Ian was ever in that position.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's a bloody good gallery. Some terrific pictures, and I hope you all enjoy them.
That's right. That's right.
Thanks for asking me to come.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And how to clear the gallery open. You forgot that bit, but you remember that. Ian, look, here's a special souvenir of your time with us this evening, the most wanted pin. I understand the Daily Telegraph had it over at $15,000 in the paper today, this pin.
Is that all?
That all. That's right.
Almost as much as Fatso on Olympic Games.
Well, that's right. That's right. Look, it's a souvenir of your time here, and thanks very much for coming in, and thanks very much for supporting the show through its whole run, these Olympics, and all the best in the future, especially that Armani opening or whatever it is.
The Guggenheim.
Yeah, that one. Thank you.
Now, wait a minute. You need a picture with Fatso
here for the snapshot.
Can you please stay? Ian Thorpe!
Buckner has never been beaten. A heavyweight pie is now all he's eaten. He can count to 10 and back again. So Australia's in heaven now that Ozzy Joe's smoking on 7.
Get knotted. Get knotted.
Joe, the souvenir pin. Yes, thanks very much. And Joe, the souvenir pin is on its way as promised. Roy, there's a little bit of sad news about saying that, suggesting that some of the money that has been allocated to sport over the past 4 or 5 years won't be there in the future. What do you know about this?
I've heard this.
Yes.
I've heard this.
This is in Australia.
You broke that story, I think, HG, here a few, 6 or 7 days ago when we realised that the coaching staff for our shooters had been dissolved.
Yes.
Dissolved. Well, this is spreading out to the AIS and to other sports. Elite sports are now under challenge, HG, under threat. The thinking is that because we've done exceptionally well in these games, we can get onto another agenda now.
Yes.
And I think this is short-sighted and a real mistake because Athens is only, what, 1,200 days away or so?
And Barcelona's only 3,600 in the future.
In the future, yes.
Go back to Barcelona.
That's right. I think it's very, very short thinking. I think we've got to plan for the future. And sport is leading the country forward.
It is.
Never has the country been so united.
Yes. Absolutely
Never.
right.
And the AIS, sure, there might be a lot of bloody bludgers there by and large, but the 1 or 2 that sneak through bloody do well for us.
They do. Very, very well.
Don't they?
Yes, yes, especially in synchronised swimming.
Synchronised swimming.
Which has been a revelation of these games, and the...
People would love to see more money going to synchronised swimming.
They would. They would. It could only improve the standard.
That'd be a real vote winner.
I mean, I'll tell you what, the bar's bloody high in synchronised swimming already, but with a couple of extra bucks from, say...
It would only take $100 million to get us at least some sort of medal.
Now, look...
in Athens. I reckon that's cheap.
Yeah, look, I reckon the government department should sponsor sporting teams. So how about this? The synchronised swimming team proudly sponsored by Bruce Scott and Veteran Affairs. How about that?
That's not bad.
Or
sponsored by the Collins-class submarine.
Indeed, that's right. That's right.
Do you realise we could have got 1,000 medals for those Collins-class submarines? But I know which ones the people would value more.
Yeah, that's true.
The medals or the bloody Collins.
Those vacuum cleaners underwater.
Noisy vacuum cleaners.
Noisy, well, that's what I meant. Rowdy vacuum cleaners.
They just scare the fish.
Yeah, but there's none of that. There's none of that in synchronised swimming, and we can show you right now. Yes, welcome to the Aquatic Centre for the synchronised swimming qualifying rounds, and today our coverage will include a story of 2 nations. The first from Australia, Irina Olevsky and Naomi Young are the team. I think Irina in the front at the moment and Naomi bringing up the rear. They now come out to salute the judges and begin their routine, Roy, and their routine is a special one today.
It is, HG, it is ambitious. It begins to tell the story of the building of the Sydney Harbour Bridge. We begin here with Jack Lang being evoked and John Bradfield being evoked. And we start in Depression times when there was nothing but bleakness and the only way to get across the bridge, if you didn't have a ferry or access to a ferry, was by swimming.
And so here we see the people swimming from the north side to the south side and back again.
And wanting a bridge, linking their legs as a symbol of the linking of the two sides of the harbour, the north and the south side.
And so far everything's working out okay. And then eventually, as we see here, Naomi representing the north side and Irina representing the south side, we eventually see the agreement
signed.
That's right, the bridge agreement signed, and so work could
Australia and Great Britain.
That's right, that the bridge could go ahead. And here we see that agreement being shown to the people before the foundations are laid.
That's right. We should see the drilling of the foundations very soon, I think, HG.
Here they go. There's the drilling of the first foundation on the north side and the south side, both at the same time. And of course it was great fun to work on the bridge.
People loved it. There were celebrations everywhere.
People had bread.
Yes.
They had beer, and they had rugby league, and they had the bridge under construction. And here the work is underway with riveters, painters, people lifting things and bringing up the roadway that we accept now as part of the city of Sydney.
That's right.
Here's the work being done here with spanners and stilsons and
box girders being joined together by pop rivets, by dogmen hanging high in the sky, being watched by people, watched by the ordinary people in Depression times. Sure, they had nothing to live off but a cup of hot fat poured onto a bit of damper, but the bridge was being constructed. Bradfield stood proud. Jack Lang winked at people each day as he went to work. There was hope in the land once more.
And then, of course,
the completion.
The completion. After a tragic tale of, you know, loss and success and disappointment and realising that more drilling had to be done. And then success, that realising finally at last errors had been corrected. And that seriousness in Parliament was producing a result for the people to see, with the bridge going up ahead of time and on budget.
That's right, and when it opened, HG, here's the opening.
Look at that. You can see De Groot coming up with the sword.
Can't you?
That was magnificent.
That was fantastic.
Naomi.
And I've never seen that story told so well. Just using the rich symbolism of a couple of people fiddling about in the water in an attempt at harmony and symmetry.
But it's beautiful, Roy. The bridge. There it is.
There it is.
A total of 87.007.
Fatso itse asiassa on. Tämä on Wombatti. Vierailla tuolla studiossa Michael Klimin, Grant Hackettin, Susie O'Neillin ja muiden Australian uimaritähtien kanssa. Ja sitten, uskokaa tai jälkää, tämä on myös sellainen party animal, niin kuin sanotaan. Eli se on käynyt kaupungilla pitämässä hauskaa vaikkapa Carl Lewisin, Atto Boldonin ja muiden.
Ja, ich finde, es ist das wahre Maskottchen. So ein kleines, süßes, wildes Tier. Erinnert mich ein bisschen an Fats Domino und die Laufschuhe. Hat er doch von Maurice Green. Also ich weiß gar nicht, warum Juan Samaranch etwas gegen Fatso hat. Fatso ist ein liebes Kerlchen. Naja, hinten sieht es ein bisschen deftig aus, aber sonst ist er ganz in Ordnung. Guckt da mal rein, hier so richtig.
Australia. Without Fatso, that flame wouldn't burn, and life would not be the same. And things would be so tame. So who's the dude that poses nude, excepting for his running shoes? Yeah, who's fat and brown, close to the ground, and bigger now than old Dick Pound? When they've fallen went and the money spent, who'll be IOC president? Well, I'll think you know why they say he's gotta go. It's Fatso.
Yes, for the final time, we open up the Fatso feedback section of the show and say g'day to the following people. Roy?
Yes, actually, quick one from Dick Pound.
Yes?
He says, message, no, it's not the Dick Pound.
No, it's a Dick
everyone's
Pound.
favourite IOC member. I'm just a regular bloke from Ballarat who wants to thank Fatso for making me famous in our quaint town. Everywhere I go, townsfolk are asking me for my autograph. Isn't that great?
Isn't that fantastic?
Isn't that fantastic?
Isn't that hard to imagine? There's two people on the planet called Dick Pound. Yeah.
Unfathomable.
Look, I've got one here from Ashlyn.
Yeah.
Just a quick note to remind you that Greco-Roman wrestling was originally played in the nude. Need I say more? Look, we've been across this for years now.
When we do it,
we're always nude. And, you know, obviously you go back to the whole Olympic Games. I mean, the whole Olympic Games in Athens in the olden days, this is BC, was all in the nude.
Yeah.
Your jav, your discus, your 4x100, your posing, all that sort of gear. It was all nude, synchronised swimming. And the other thing is the spectators were in the nude as well.
Yeah.
And when Sydney got the Games, one of the ambitions was to return it to the original roots, dare I say it. Performers in the nude, spectators in the nude.
Which I think
There'd be
Athens,
nothing more natural. Nothing more
Athens
natural.
will be doing that, I believe, actually.
They're going back to those old-fashioned
going back to the roots.
Tremendous news.
Absolutely. I've got one here from Jessica of Reservoir in Melbourne. Message, after many nights of enjoying your show, we have named our visit to the toilet Going to Atlanta.
Isn't that lovely? Isn't that nice? That's fabulous. That's really good. I've got one here from Becky, Peter, and Alan.
Yes.
We've all been listening to, the nation. We've all been listening to the national anthem, Advance Australia Fair, and a lot during the Olympics of, obviously other nations, and we found it bland. Well, these bland and boring, and especially the Australian Advance Australia Fair. An embarrassment to our nation. Listening to some of the Hearts of Gold contestants, our hearts were struck by an overwhelming sense of patriotism and passion. Could you please suggest to John Howard that the Australia adopts one of these inspirational songs as our national anthem?
Isn't that a lovely idea?
It's a beautiful song that truly captures the Australian spirit.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful?
Yes.
So they have spoken to the people of Australia, Roy.
Just finally, actually, one more from Drew in Sunbury. Channel 7 must be confident on exploiting the expertise of the mercurial Gordon Bray. And I agree, he's terrific. Who else among the coven of sports commentators could inform me that Pierre-Francois Deschamps is an unemployed gravedigger from Toulouse?
Yes.
Or that Djibouti's Patrick Mabota is wanted in several countries, but not in Australia, he's quick to point out, for poaching white rhino.
Poaching white rhino?
That Gordon, he's great. He does his homework, Gordon, doesn't he?
I think that's gilding the lily a lot.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I think he may have been focusing on another commentator.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do know what you mean. So I've got some medal counts here, and I should thank all of those who contributed to our emails over the past fortnight.
Yes.
They've done a marvellous job.
Yes.
They've just been fantastic.
They've made us look good, Roy.
Just a couple of quick medal tallies here, HG. I thought we should compare ourselves with Canada very quickly.
Yes.
Because Canada is a country of similar size and number of people and economic well-being. Canada got 2 golds, 2 silvers and 8 bronze for a total of 12. And we have a total of 56. So I just thought...
I wouldn't dwell on that comparison, Roy.
So, with our tally, HG, it's called Come On Athens, I believe, or Towards Athens. These don't take into account a possible bronze by the Boomers tomorrow, I should point out. In Seoul in 1988, we had 14 medals. In Barcelona in 1992, we had 27, which is 13 more than Seoul. In Atlanta in 1996, we got 41, which is 14 more than Barcelona. In Sydney, 56, which is 15 more than in Atlanta, or the toilet. So if this trend continues, we'll get 16 more medals in Athens and in Sydney, which bring our tally to Athens 2004, 72 medals.
That's fantastic. Fantastic. And,
unless these collapsing of the sports funding
bug us up those projections.
We'll be dead in the water.
Hard to take that in your forward estimates. It's hard to take all those things into account. No. We'll be back to wind up the dream for the games of the 27th
with bronze in Hearts of Gold.
Hearts of Gold next.
More than a noun, he's a verb. More than a man, he's a god. The greatest man in the world is
Now, on The Dream, it's time for Fatso's favourites.
Find out soon, as we say. This is the race of... Oh, he's gone down, he got it all wrong. Oh, goodness me. He got his line completely wrong.
The penalties adding up because of the time, and a fall as well. That's disaster.
We've seen that in so many positions, but not on the bottom of the pool.
Argentina break away, or try to. Demolished it.
Oh, no.
Oh, he missed me! Oh!
Ooh, that's a direct hit.
So now he's down, and Alexis Rubalcaba, this huge man out of Cuba, has poleaxed.
And so sadly, we come to the end of the dream for the games of the 27th Olympiad. Roy, firstly, a little bit of housekeeping here. The bidding on Fatso has closed at $80,450. $80,450. It turns out that the mystery bidder is none other than Kerry Stokes, very prominent in the Channel 7 organisation, and he assures us that he's got a showcase waiting for Fatso around at his place. So people will be able to drive by, tonk the horn and wave to the Battler's Prince.
It'll be open 24 hours a day. You can just go up to Kerry's place and say, I demand to see the Battler's Prince, and you can see it.
So that's tremendous
Absolutely
news
right.
to think that Fatso won't be moving too far from the dream.
No.
Look, on tonight's show, can I thank John Drummond, Lawrence Johnson, Melinda Taylor Gainsford, haven't got that right, have I? Gainsford Taylor, Michelle Timms and Lauren Jackson.
Yeah.
And Roy, that sadly brings us to the end of the dream.
Well, it's been a great dream, a great games. The 27th Olympiad has been wonderful, and we've got to ask people to enjoy Sad Sunday.
Yes.
Yeah,
Sad Sunday.
Sad Sunday.
Simple, sad Sunday.
Yeah, and thank everyone for joining us on the journey of the dream over the past 15 nights, has it been?
It has indeed,
Yeah,
Roy.
it's been great.
And obviously lots of people, apart from Roy, myself and Peter O'Connor, the floor manager, get a chance to stick our heads on the television. There are many people connected with the dream who don't get that opportunity. Can you thank them as well, please, here in the studio? Finally, Roy, it's been tremendous to pack down under the doona every night with you here.
Oh, it's been great,
between
actually.
11 and 1 or whenever Sandy and Bruce let us on. And finally, of course, we come to Bronze in the Hearts of Gold. Bronze in the Hearts of Gold, it's, let's see, Endless Beginnings is the song. It's the SOCOG choir with IOC augmentation. It's the Dream Choir, headed up tonight by Mr. John Farnham and friends, and the immortal reading of Go You Good Thing. In you come, John. See you later, Australia. Here we are. Farewell from the Dream.
The road is hard, the pain intense, the yearning longs, day after day. Now's the time to draw some pay. Go, you good thing, go and going hard. Go, you good thing, go. Go, you good thing, pull it together. Go, you good thing, go. One more time. Go, you good thing, go and going hard. Go, you good thing, go. Go, you good thing, pull it together. Go, you good thing, go. Here we go. To reach the top has its cost. A normal life forever lost. They stand in your way. Yeah, it's gonna be war. The winner will be who wants it more. Go, you good thing, go and going hard. Go, you good thing, go. Let's go. Go, you good thing, pour the gasoline. Go, you good thing, go. Come on now. Go, you good thing, go and going hard. Go, you good thing, go. Yeah. Go, you good thing, pour the gasoline. Go, you good thing, go. Here we go. Come on now. It's the good bit. Hang on. 1, 2, yes.
You fought for this. The time is now. You've trained for this. The time is now. You live for this.